Welcome. Today, I'm going to walk through how AI agents with shared memory can really transform go-to-market functions. The focus today is going to be on breaking down silos between marketing, sales, and customer success so that every customer touchpoint builds on the last. So for this demo, let's start with our fictional company, LuminaAI. You can think of LuminaAI as a AI company similar to OpenAI or Anthropic. Um, LuminaAI is an AI research and product company. They sell enterprise APIs as well as developer tools, and their customers range from small startups to Fortune 500 large enterprise. That mix creates a GTM challenge. The company sells to very different buyers, developers, technology leaders, business executives, and each of their accounts can have multiple stakeholders, and the journey is long with lots of handoffs across marketing, sales, and CS. And here's the reality today: marketing touch points and interactions, sales interactions, and customer success interactions happen weeks or months apart. And without shared context, critical customer insights really disappear at these handoffs. So communications become generic and repetitive, not very helpful. And also, leaders in the company struggle to get a single unified view of account progress and the customer journey. So this is why the GTM execution can feel fragmented and very inefficient. So the opportunity here is really to imagine a shared memory hub at the center of the customer journey. So marketing can write campaign data, intent data, interaction data. Sales can read the full history when qualifying and drafting outreach. Customer success updates onboarding and customer health in the context of earlier promises and what's known about that customer. And then tools and integrations keep all external systems in sync. And so this creates one persistent context layer that grows with every interaction. So for the demo, what I'm about to show you is how this could work in practice. This is going to illustrate um, using AI workflow and agentic solutions for um, really getting to seamless handoffs in each of these steps. And so core components that I'm going to show you, there's a planner, which creates an adaptive workflow based on the context. Marketing, which is going to ingest customer touch points and behavioral signals. Sales, which is going to qualify leads and draft discovery emails that are context rich and more personalized. Tools, they're going to do things like fetch relevant documents, things like pricing, security, or SLAs. Customer success is going to align onboarding with earlier sales commitments and what's known about that customer. And then coordinator, this is something that's going to deliver a unified executive summary view of what's happening with this account. This flow shows how the context compounds step by step. And so here's how the customer experience really changes. With the first touch, marketing captures signals. At the qualification step, sales uses the full history to target outreach. Discovery, that's where conversations are going to build on all prior interactions. And then in onboarding, CS is going to deliver the exact commitments that sales made. So instead of repeating questions or losing context, the journey really feels seamless. And as for leadership, the benefits are just as powerful. Gaining more visibility into what's happening within each account, things like real-time account health scoring across all the touch points, having end-to-end visibility from the first touch all the way through renewals, predictive insights based on the full interaction history, and then context attribution that shows what's working and which teams are really driving impact. So no more blind spots. Every decision is backed by complete customer context. Technical architecture here, how does this work exactly? We have a persistent context layer that grows with each interaction. We have specialized AI agents for each of these GTM functions, all reading and writing to this shared memory and context. And then we have real-time sync across systems and touch points so nothing is stale. So this is really a good example of the combination of context plus AI agents enabling a smarter, more connected go-to-market motion. All right, let's dive in. With that context, we'll jump into the demo. We'll see how all these pieces come together step by step in real time. Now that you've seen the context, let's walk through the demo step by step. I'll show you how each GTM function contributes to the shared memory and how every downstream step gets smarter because of that context. So the first thing we'll look at is the planner. I can click on Plan Workflow. The planner is our starting point. It takes a goal like convert a lead into an enterprise account and decomposes it into steps across marketing, sales, CS, and tools. What makes it powerful is that it's memory aware. If we already know this account looked at pricing or has product usage, the plan adapts automatically. This means we're not running cookie cutter playbooks, we're adapting to the context. So next, I'm going to click on marketing. And what's happening here is marketing is writing early intent signals into memory. So things like page views, pricing requests, webinars, demos. And then here in our timeline, you can see the events recorded step by step. You can see that they've got timestamps and provenance, and this is the first building block of context. So without it, downstream teams would really be flying blind. Next, we're going to go to sales. And you can imagine here now sales is picking up the thread. So this could be weeks or months later. But instead of drafting a generic outreach, the LLM reads the full memory, what pages were viewed, what webinars were attended, the company size and industry, even prior notes. And the result is a discovery email that feels specific, shorter, more consultative, and referencing the actual signals that this lead gave us. And that's really why response rates improve. You can think of this as context-aware outreach. It's not spray and pray. And this is where we can go down again and see what's been added to our timeline. And this is where the email that's created in this example can reference things like pricing, webinars, or enterprise workflow, depending on the sample lead we have. So the next step is we'll go to take a look at tools and guardrails. So we can go into tool calls, and we're going to search through our docs. And in this step, what we're doing is preparing the account executive with the right assets. So the system is building a search query from the memory. So if there's pricing interest and security concerns, it's going to pull pricing, security, SLA documents automatically. And you'll see the results here with relevant scores. All put together for us. And we'll also run guardrails. So if the memory shows enterprise plus security concerns, but the security overview isn't included, it's going to flag that gap. So it keeps the workflow not just smart, but also safe and reliable. And then the next thing we're going to take a look at is customer success. So we can click on our CS example here. And here you can imagine that when CS steps in, they don't repeat discovery questions. I think all of us have experienced that many, many times. Not the best customer experience. Instead, CS is going to see the full memory. So they're going to see what sales promised, what marketing signaled, what product usage looks like. Here, the LLM generates a tailored onboarding summary with next best actions. So if security was a concern earlier, it recommends enabling SSO and SAML. If usage is already strong, it shifts directly into pilot success metrics. And this means that onboarding for each customer isn't generic. It's tightly aligned with the customer's real journey and actual needs and where they are in the process. So finally, last thing we're going to show is this coordinator summary. And so we can click compile exec summary here. And in this step, the coordinator is really going to synthesize everything into one crisp executive summary. So this is the view that a CRO or CSM lead wants. They want to know what the customer cared about in marketing, how sales position them, where CS is seeing risks or opportunities, and what the next best actions are. It's one unified narrative, and it's generated automatically from the shared memory. And we can look at our timeline view here. And so as we scroll through the timeline, what you can see is we've stitched the record together. So we have marketing touches, sales qualification, CS updates, all with timestamps. And in reality, these events would likely be days, weeks, months apart, but memory is what makes it feel continuous. Every team picks up exactly where the last left off. And so that's the LuminaAI demo. And step by step, you saw how context compounds. Marketing signals fuel sales outreach. Sales promises guide CS onboarding. And tools and summaries stay aligned throughout. And the result is fewer handoff drops, faster time to value, and a single source of truth for leadership. And the last thing we'll take a look at today is just a quick walkthrough of the code. And I won't go through everything here, but just touch on some of the core concepts. The first thing is shared memory, or the brain of the system. So we'll take a look at memory.py. This is one record per account with aliases, so things like lead IDs and email, firmographics, marketing touches, sales notes, CS health. This is where we have our timeline of events with the source, the action, timestamp, and then we have our memory store, which is in JSON. And so this is where we're just updating everything in our history and keeping it all in one place. And so why this matters, all agents are going to read and write this same object, so context compounds downstream in later interactions. Let's see, the next thing we can take a look at is our context packer. Basically what this does is it's going to distill the big record into a small LLM ready input. So it's going to take the last few intent events, so things like the pricing page, downloads, webinar. It's going to take firmographics like industry, size, region. It's going to have the current sales stage plus the last sales note. It's going to have the latest product usage, risks, and next best actions. And it's going to keep our prompts short and stable and more specific. Then we have our LLM integration. This is going to use OpenAI 4.0, and it's going to be where the agents call this generate method with the system and the prompt, and the prompt is what's built from the context packer that we just discussed. And then finally we have our agents here. These are single responsibility tools in our system. So we have a marketing agent, which is going to do things like ingest touch points. It's going to infer things like from the domain, the firmographics, the company name. It's going to append that to our timeline. We have sales, which is going to write a sales note with the owner, the stage, the notes, the score, update our firmographics. It's going to build a prompt from our context packer to the LLM to draft a discovery email. We've got CS here, which is what's writing our CS health, our product usage, our risks, our next best actions, appending it to the timeline. It's building the onboarding summary and next best actions from the context packer. We have our planner. This is what classifies the goal and then emits the plan. And so if a memory snapshot is present, it's going to apply simple rules like pricing interest means we're going to add pricing and SLA docs. If they have product usage, we're going to skip basic discovery, that type of thing. And then finally, coordinator. This is what produces that executive summary we took to look at from that context packer. We have things like tools and guardrails. So in our tools, we can take a look here. We've got just a mock-up of what it would be like if we were doing a tiny search over 3 documents to simulate like actual document retrieval. And that is basically it. Again, hope you found this helpful, and thank you for listening.